Is the WWE Women's Division in trouble? Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another edition of WrestleScope Weekly. I am John. Thank you very much for tuning in, but hold on a second. Wait a second. No, we can't do this. We can't do the 30 days of WrestleScope because, well, we wrapped that up already, didn't we? We finished that. And I'm just double checking a few things here and making sure, hold on a second, I've got to turn down volumes because I want to make sure all of my streams are working okay, that everything is wonderful. And I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Twitch is working. Okay. And hopefully YouTube is working. Thank you very much for tuning in. I already got comments jumping in here. Who is in? Oh my goodness. It is the man himself, Adam Pearson. How are you doing, my friend? I know it's late for you, and I appreciate you adjusting your plans and jumping on board here. Thank you very much. So we finished up yesterday, the 30 days of WrestleScope, and it was kind of a big deal for me because I had set a goal for myself to do some sort of a YouTube stream every single day in the month of April. And while some of them were better than others, and some were longer, some of them were really short, but I did do it. I posted something every single day through the month of April. And thank you to everybody that has been tuning in, has been watching, all the new subscribers that have jumped on board. Number 114 jumped on today, and I actually have to let this person know I'm live. I don't think this person set notifications. So I've been talking and chatting with some people, and a suggestion came up at why stop at 30? Why stop at 30? And actually, you know what? I realized I have to make an adjustment on something here real quick. Oh, always nice when YouTubers and Twitch people are doing things on the fly. So instead of the 30 days of WrestleScope, I'm going to extend the challenge to myself. And we are officially kicking off, as of right now, the 61 days of WrestleScope. That's right. Now, it's not just the month of April. It's also going to be the month of June as well. Oh, we got to get some new things into the display here. Got to keep adding to things here. So through the month of May now, I'm going to continue what I did in the month of April, and I am going to have not a live, but have some sort of content on this channel every day through the month of May. Now, I did have somebody say, why don't you just do 365, man? Just go for 365. Because I've got a couple of things coming up here. One thing in June, another one in August that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. We shall see. But I am going to challenge myself. Hey, Frankie Hoffman, how you doing today? Thanks for jumping in. So I am going to, for sure, do 61 days. We'll see. If the 60, I was struggling a little bit when I got to day 26. A little bit because they're really I don't do full show reviews of Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and everything else, because honestly, I'm of the belief that the full show reviews are better when it's 2 or 3 people talking about them, and I'm not to that point yet. But I'm going to continue on with this. Let me get into a couple of other things real quick here. As always, as it says here on the bottom, give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bells so you know every time that WrestleScope is going to have new content on. And please follow me on all my other social media. The easiest thing to do, and I still have to double check Twitch. I don't know if it's there. I'm not 100% sure, but I know on YouTube, if you click on the bio, there is a link tree link. You can connect to all of my different social media. We greatly appreciate that. I'm doing my most right now on Twitter. Got to get back onto TikTok and do a little bit more. Haven't been doing as much on the gram lately, but I'm going to get back to that, I promise. So please make sure you do that. Frankie has faith in me that I could do the 365. We'll see. We will see. I was talking about it with WrestleScope Jr., my son Noah, and kind of an idea and a plan of how I could pull it off. I will be traveling at one point in time and doing some family stuff. So obviously I'm not going to have equipment with me, but thankfully that's what we have smartphones and iPads for, where maybe I can do a quick video and upload something, but I don't want to shortchange you guys. That's the thing. And hey, I appreciate that, Frankie. Actually, an opportunity may come up a little bit later as we may open up the studio for, first of all, Ask John Anything, but we may open up the Streamlabs for people to jump on in and join in tonight. So let's get right into the big story here. Is there more trouble? Is the WWE Women's Division in trouble? And oh, you know what? Actually, what I need to do a little bit later on, because I forgot to grab a drink, we may crack open a bottle of the Apothic Red, the winemaker's blend. We may break that one open a little bit later, just to celebrate that we made it out of the 30 days and have started the 60 days, and I'll talk about that one in just a minute. Well, you know what, Frankie? We'll talk about that a little bit here. Talk about Bayley and lack of action lately, though she was in action last night. She was in that really entertaining six-person, basically mixed match challenge tag team match last night. Was a very good match. But as you all know, sorry, I'm opening up a drink here. As you all know, we had the story come out a couple of weeks ago now about Mickie James and her receiving a trash bag with her personal belongings in it, and that led to the firing of Mark Carrano, and then stories coming out about all these things have been happening for a while, and other problems with the women's division, within WWE. Mickie James was on the Grown Ass Woman podcast with SoCal Val and with Lisa Verone, the former Victoria. And she talked about, and I want to quote this directly here. She talked about feeling old, that, WWE made her feel old. And this is her quote: "I think the small-minded mentality sometimes leads to thoughtless behavior, especially for me to constantly be presented as old when I'm 41 and every single male champion has always been my same age or older and has been glorified for those reasons. As they should be, they're effing amazing. But why is it different for women? Or why is it different for me? Ageism is a real thing and it's bull bleep. I'm truly grateful for the strides that we as women have made and have seen as more equal, but it's simply not true for every single person. Sometimes that's unfortunate, because I did everything in my power to be a company girl, and for some reason I was made to feel that I didn't deserve it." That again was Mickie James. She was on the Grown Ass Woman podcast with SoCal Val just a couple of days ago, and thank you to Wrestle Talk, Tempest at Wrestle Talk, for transcribing that. That's just part of the issue there. And yes, Glenn, the WWE Women's Division needs a change. Yeah, that's a story for another time, Frankie. But that's not the only thing. I mean, there have been so many different things. Not sure if you saw this story, but Molly Holly, who is one of the newest additions to the WWE Hall of Fame, she was on Busted Open Radio just a couple of days ago, and she revealed that her WWE Hall of Fame speech was cut from 15 minutes down to 2. And she added that she cried for 4 hours when she heard the news. And this quote from Molly Holly, this is courtesy of Wrestling News: "It was awesome that Hurricane Helms is the one to tell me that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The fact that he legitimately, for real, got choked up and was super proud of me, that was really special. I loved that moment. Behind the scenes after that, I was told I was going to have about 15 minutes to give a speech. So I spent a lot of time and had 3 friends of mine that are professional writers help me. I practiced," this is Molly Holly speaking, "I practiced for 60 hours. I have a regular 9-to-5 job, and after work every day, I would practice it while I was going for a walk. I worked really hard on it. Then a couple of days before, they, assuming WWE, said, never mind, you actually have 2 minutes to give your speech. I cried for like 4 hours. A lot of times when I used to wrestle full time, they would tell us, you have 12 minutes to wrestle. And then right before we walked out, they would be like, nope, you only have 4 minutes. We were so ready to tell a story of good versus evil and give the fans their money's worth. Now it's just entrances, 2 moves, and the match. It would be such a heartbreak. So this shows, and there's more going on. Carmella appeared on the Bella Twins podcast and was talking about how it's just crazy. She will sit at home on Monday nights like a fan, watch Raw, and it will be 10 o'clock, so 9 o'clock Central Time, before any women would show up on a 3-hour show. There is obviously problems here. There are women, Chelsea Green, in an interview, I believe it was the interview she did with Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, talked about how she had pitched numerous ideas to WWE and everything kept getting shot down. Yes, she was a cornerstone to the women's division back in the Attitude Era. Now, I'm not going to defend WWE and what they did, but they did have to cram 2 nights, or basically 2 years worth of Hall of Fame inductions into one night. But the fact that they told her one thing and did the other. And Adam Pearson, all right, do you think that the attitude Mickey speaks of echoes of the Divas division? It's possible. Yes, it's very possible. It was, obviously, you look back at the Divas division prior to Charlotte Flair. We'll say prior to Charlotte Flair winning that title. You look at those years, and it was very much about, good-looking women, skimpy outfits, everything else. And that even goes back to Attitude Era women's division. They started changing it a little bit with the Divas division. It didn't start changing until we saw the NXT call-ups, until we saw Charlotte and Becky and Sasha and Bayley. But it never really fully changed. And that's a key thing there, Adam. Yeah, sexualism over women's athletes. These women, regardless of who it is, now there have been some women in this division that are not on the level of a Bayley, a Sasha, a Becky Lynch, a Charlotte, a Ronda Rousey, a Shayna Baszler, a Bianca Belair, of being fantastic athletes. They were brought in basically as models. Kelly, Tori Wilson. No offense to any of these women. Stacy Keibler. Absolutely no offense. But it was because of how they looked. And now it's more about the athleticism. But still, it's sad that a woman, that Mickie James, 41 years old, is still an amazingly beautiful woman. But even more importantly than that, she is still a fantastic athlete. There are women on that main roster right now that she can wrestle circles around still. But because of the fact that she's 41, she's looked at as old, which is garbage, absolute garbage. You've got guys that, and I'm not going to name names, we all know who they are. We've got guys that are, in their mid 40s, late 40s, 50 years old, still wrestling, being pushed to the top of the card. But a woman that could still go, that still has a lot to offer because she's 41, is considered old. And we'll get into that, Frankie. We will definitely get into that. This one's kind of controversial. Ashley Michelle. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Shad Gaspard. Why wasn't he inducted? Absolutely no offense to Titus O'Neil, but why wasn't Shad Gaspard given the Warrior Award this year? It was just a travesty. Now, not to say that there are not problems in women's wrestling in other companies. AEW, we know the ongoing story of Ivelisse and her getting released and problems backstage. We know the hottest woman's free agent right now, Tessa Blanchard, her issues, and I'm not even going to discuss the rumor that is going around about her going to AEW. It's a possibility. A couple people are reporting that it's going to happen. Another group is saying absolutely not, it's not happening. We'll see what ends up happening. But WWE, and I think what it comes down to, and this is John's personal opinion right now, it comes down to who is in charge of the company and the booking. And you take a look at it in WWE, it is a man in his mid-70s who his heyday was, the 80s and then the Attitude Era. And he's flanked by a whole bunch of yes men. That's the problem. They think things are funny. They think things are good television, and it's not. And we're seeing on Raw, they have seen a huge drop in the last 3 weeks in viewership. Now, is that going to matter to Vince McMahon? Maybe not until AEW, if they somehow pull out a 1.2 or 1.3 million this week on Dynamite, and Raw drops down to 1.5. I'm predicting, I think AEW Dynamite this last week, it was, yes, they dropped down to just under 900,000, but the president had his first address in front of Congress. It's getting warmer in certain areas. Yeah, there was going to be a drop. I think they're going to jump back over 1 million again this week. A lot of people are going to tune in for Blood and Guts. But if Raw's numbers continue to drop, amen. If Raw's numbers continue to drop, there's going to end up being some concern. And you look what's happening right now behind the scenes. The new president of WWE, Nick Khan, starting to bring in his own group of people. We saw Mark Carrano and a whole bunch of other people get released from different positions within the company. Could there be a change in the works? Yes, Carol, of course I'm going to keep going. I don't think you ended up seeing it, but we're going to show it for Carol, who's one of the true good eggs here. It's no longer the 30 days of WrestleScope. It's the 61 days of WrestleScope. That's right. We're going to keep going here. But how are things going to end up changing in WWE with the women's division? I don't know. I think they need to get somebody else actually booking it and running the division, because everything is just an absolute hot mess right now. It's just terrible. Don't even get me started on the women's tag division. Actually, you know what? We may talk about that a little bit later. Let's switch gears to AEW Blood and Guts this coming Friday. So for those of you that are not familiar, Blood and Guts is actually been in the works for well over a year. It was supposed to happen last year at Double or Nothing, and obviously because of the pandemic, it didn't. So they pushed it off, and now it's going to be this year, which it's going to be Wednesday, and it's not even going to be on pay-per-view. It's going to be Wednesday night on Dynamite. It is the Pinnacle taking on the Inner Circle. And I am truly excited about this. I'm going to be very interested to see how this works, because this is a live week for AEW. I don't think that they are going to pre-tape this match. I'd be surprised. Adam Pearson, if you're still in here, if you've heard otherwise, I have not seen anything anywhere saying that Blood and Guts is going to be pre-taped, and I hope it's not, unless they're planning on adding something massively cinematic to it, which I don't think they will. It is going to be a very entertaining match, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. My prediction early on is the Pinnacle is going to end up winning. I think that makes the most sense, because Chris Jericho did have a comment, and I need to see if I can find it here. Let me see. Okay, hang on just a second. Chris Jericho had made a comment about it, and I had the comment up. I feel stupid that I don't know. Oh, here we go. Okay, speaking of Wrestling Observer Radio, Jericho confirmed that the 10-man two-sided ring bout inside the cage will not be the end of the war between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle, and there's much more planned beyond it. This is Jericho's direct quote on Wrestling Observer Radio. This is not the end of the story at all. The beginning in a lot of ways. And, once again, I like to book ahead. It's more like writing the ideas and then knowing where we're going. It's one of the things about wrestling that's really cool. It's almost like connect the dots because you have to hit the dot to do what you want to do. Then you connect this dot and then this dot. And then sometimes the lines aren't as straight as you originally think. Sometimes there's twists and turns. But when you long-term book, at least you know that this dot needs to be hit. Blood and Guts was something that in my original thought was kind of the end. And then it was moved on to be more of the beginning. So you kind of rearrange accordingly. I'm already excited about the ideas and the planning. So considering the 10 men that are involved in this, and again, that was Chris Jericho on Wrestling Observer Radio, this is just the beginning of things. And I absolutely love it. And Adam Pearson is paying attention. Thank you. Yep, the usual slight tape delay. But the thing is, honestly, AEW, they tape every other week. And there have not been a ton of spoilers, which is amazing. I think it's great. Yeah, they definitely want the 1.2 back. So, but what I love about this comment from Jericho is the long-term booking. They've already made a change that, Blood and Guts should have been the end. Blood and Guts is actually the beginning. So there's a huge pivot right there. But there's long-term booking. So honestly, I see this going on. This could be summer long. It could end at All Out in Chicago if it ends up happening in Chicago, which if it does, I'd be thrilled because I'm doing my best to, if they end up being able to have All Out in Chicago at the end of August, I'm doing everything that I possibly can to be at that show. And I know there's a lot of other people as well. Reportedly, they are going to have a Dynamite that Wednesday before here in Milwaukee where I am. So I'm hoping to be at that as well. We shall see. But I see this not just going through the summer, but realistically with the 10 guys involved here, you do the math. There are so many different derivatives that they can do here. You can have MJF versus one of the two from Proud and Powerful. We need MJF versus Sammy. You can have Jericho versus Wardlow, Hager versus anybody, FTR. There's just so many different directions they can go with this. 6-mans, tag team matches, singles matches, so many different things. I think the final end blow off needs to be some sort of a match where it's finally MJF versus Jericho. And the loser of that match must disband their group. And I think that needs to happen next year at Double or Nothing. I think that needs to be a year out. Don't fast track it. Stretch this out. That's the beautiful thing about AEW is they don't overdo it with pay-per-views. They have 4 a year. Yes, they have the bigger Dynamites, but they're stretching things out. It's like the good old days. Whoa, wait. Adam Pearson? What? No. You really think that could happen? That would be a twist nobody would see coming. What if MJF and Sammy were working together the whole time. Oh my goodness. Is it too early to pull the trigger on that, though? Yeah, I could see it happening. It could be Sammy is pissed off at Jericho and because of everything that happened, and then he left, and wow. Adam, I haven't seen anybody else post anything like that. So if you're right, you are going to get credit for that, man. Oh my goodness. That is just crazy, but I love it. Again, I think it's too early for them to pull the trigger on something like that. But boy, that's almost a pay-per-view type of turn. I would want to more see that in a Jericho MJF one-on-one match, and go that way. But I don't know. That would be crazy, and that would pop the ratings big time. Oh, sorry. So. Oh my god, I'm just so thrown off by that prediction right there, Adam. That is just crazy. But if that happens, that would be awesome. I don't want it to happen this soon, though. I really want this to play out for a long time. I really, really do. Frankie, I don't think Mox is going to get the belt back. I think what's going to happen is Mox is going to end up losing the IWGP US title on May 12th. I think Kenny Omega is going to cost him. I think he's going to cost him that match. The big question right now is, who the heck is the number one contender? I've already said the booking I want to see, and maybe it is not at Double or Nothing. That's the thing. Double or Nothing is in what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks, I think. Adam, correct me if I'm wrong on that. And hang on a second. Just got to respond to a message here real quick. Sorry. All right. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, they have, they've got on Blood and Guts, they've got Omega and Nakazawa against Moxley and Kingston. Moxley's got to be taking time off soon. Renee is due in a couple of weeks here. So if not at Blood and Guts, definitely May 12th or Double or Nothing, Moxley's got to get taken out for at least a couple of months. So I don't know. But anyways, I'm excited for Blood and Guts. I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic show. They've already booked a couple of different things for this show, but obviously the Blood and Guts match is going to take up at least the whole second hour, if not longer. I'm glad they actually added a couple of other things. Moxley and Jeff Hardy, didn't they wrestle in WWE? I don't think that's a dream match right now, but that's just me. All right, you are watching. You are listening to. Oh my goodness, I jumped ahead. Well, we're going to go ahead and do this. You are watching WrestleScope Weekly. I am John. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're listening on the podcast, you are listening to WrestleScope Weekly. And the other news that broke just a couple of days ago is talks of WWE and MLW working together. More so NXT having talent that's not used as much. And I believe this was a Dave Meltzer story. NXT talent that is not being used as much on television, working over with MLW. And I think this is a good move because you've got the talent that they want to get time with, and MLW now has the TV deal with Vice TV. Actually, it just premiered today on Vice TV. I think this is a good thing because it could almost end up being what Evolve should have been was kind of that feeding ground for WWE. Not so much developmental, but an area where talent can work on in-ring things and promos, maybe not so much, location of hard cam and all that kind of stuff, and get prepared to make the step to NXT. Be that feeder ground for NXT. And MLW, I can't speak a lot on MLW because I have not watched. I've watched a little bit here and there, and I know they've got really good talent in there. I'm going to try doing more watching of MLW now that they're going to be on Vice to kind of get caught up on what they're doing and some of the talent they have. But I think this is going to be a good working relationship as long as WWE isn't using it to, first of all, poach talent from MLW, but they're actually going to show respect to MLW as well as an organization. And realistically, I think Impact Wrestling has to be a little bit concerned. Okay, Frankie, I just saw your comment there. Okay, I think you and I are going to have to. I'm curious on something here. Okay, no, that's not what I wanted, but okay. I lost my train of thought there. See, that happens a lot. I think I need some more caffeine. Need some more Mountain Dew. Impact Wrestling. Yes. I think they need to be a little bit concerned about MLW's TV deal and if this partnership with WWE happens. Because Impact is, I don't think they're getting a lot out of this partnership per se with AEW. They've gotten a few mentions, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more later in the show, but I feel that there's more that they can be doing, Impact and AEW. And that's why MLW with the TV deal with Vice TV, it's going to get them in front of a lot more eyes now. Is going to open things up to people. And if they do get a partnership with NXT, and hopefully we would see some MLW talent come over to NXT as well, which could be very interesting if that ends up happening. I'm excited to see what happens with this. I really am. You know what I'm going to do? I am actually going to jump into, based off of what I was just talking about, and this depresses me right now. Zello Pro Wrestling just posted a picture here in Milwaukee. They're at the Turner Ballroom in Milwaukee. They have a show that I believe is going to be streamed on Fight TV tonight starting at 7. And they've got social distancing of the seats and everything, but I really wanted to be at that show tonight. I really did, and it just didn't work out. It kind of depresses me because there's actually a couple of female talent that I know personally that are going to be at that show. They're going to be working the show, and I really wanted to see them wrestle again. So okay, so Frankie, yes, AEW has the open door with New Japan and Impact. NWA, I don't know what is happening with that right now, because if you look at it, it's primarily on the women's side. Thunder Rosa, and when Serena Deeb was in there, which we haven't seen her at all lately. A couple of the women that are on Dark and Elevation have been NWA talent, and they've got kind of an open door with that. So, but AEW, they talk more about New Japan than they do about Impact Wrestling. The only mention NWA ever gets, and I think that could actually be changing with the exception of Thunder Rosa. I don't know if we're going to see any more NWA contracted talent in AEW anytime soon. I think some of the talent that is going back and forth between NWA and AEW are on per show basis, so they don't have contracts with either company. There actually is a talent that I am surprised is not working for either one right now, and I am hoping to actually talk to this person about this very soon. I'm not going to mention names yet because I don't want to say that I'm going to be talking to somebody and it doesn't end up happening. So, Glenn with an interesting comment: Impact Wrestling versus AEW versus do you mean Impact and AEW versus NXT and MLW versus SmackDown and Raw? That's interesting. I mean, if you're ranking shows or rating shows, I would put AEW 1, NXT 2, SmackDown a very close third. Though after last night, I don't know. Last night's show was pretty darn good. Raw just slightly ahead of Impact, and MLW I can't really rate again because I haven't been watching it. Can we talk real quick? Let's talk real quick. It wasn't in the plans, but let's talk real quick here about the match last night. Oh, and actually that was going to be one of the things I was going to talk about here. That match between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns last night. I mean, just the build last night was fantastic, where it was, again, a night-long narrative where they talked to different wrestlers, not just from SmackDown, but from Raw as well, of who do you think is going to win this match? And it was in a lot of cases, it was very candid. I mean, The Miz, you knew what The Miz was going to say. There's that long history with him and Daniel Bryan. Seth Rollins was a very interesting one where he picked Daniel Bryan, but really talked about how, yeah, me and Roman, we got a little bit of history here. We got some history. And the match, I mean, I was stunned that at 8:18 Central Time, Daniel Bryan was walking to the ring for the main event. Now, I knew they were going to extend that, do a video package, go to a commercial, then have Roman come out and extend things. And it was probably going to be 8:27, 8:28 before they started the match. But the fact that they gave the last half an hour to this match, and it was an absolutely phenomenal match. And Roman Reigns, there are people that complained about Roman Reigns quite a bit before his leukemia diagnosis. That, he was basically out of the same cookie cutter mold as Hulk Hogan and John Cena, 5 moves in a cloud of dust. Well, Roman Reigns has really changed himself. He's still not a technical wrestler, but he can put on good matches now. And I love the fact that his finisher now is that guillotine choke. And he made the transition from the arm that was hurt to his other arm to take out Daniel Bryan. And the other thing that was beautiful about that match, multiple near falls, both guys looking like they could win, but we didn't see any interference at all. Jey Uso didn't appear until after the match, until after Cesaro came out. And Cesaro came out after the match. They let the two wrestle, and it was a clean finish victory for Roman Reigns. Are we going to get the title on Cesaro? First, we have to get him a title match. I don't think he's going to win it. He's not the guy to beat Roman Reigns. Oh, come on, Frank. You still complain about Roman. Take a look at Roman Reigns 2021 versus Roman Reigns 2016 or 2017. A dramatically different wrestler. I think, quite honestly, Roman Reigns is the best heel character in WWE right now. And a lot of that has to do with Paul Heyman. But I think he's doing great. And yes, Adam Pearson, Roman Reigns rolled out a new theme song. I'm not sure about banger. I like it. It's going to have to grow on me. Yeah, absolutely. SmackDown turns to Raw and says, hold my beer. I still wonder how on earth are these two shows basically written by the same people? How? I don't get it. And yes, Reigns versus Cesaro is going to be fantastic. Is absolutely fantastic. Oh, come on, Frankie. The only good thing about Roman is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman accents him extremely well. Now, I do want to jump back to something here. Adam's got a great comment here. Sorry, I got issues going on upstairs. Do you think that by not mentioning NWA means that if or when Aldis versus Omega finally happens, it'll feel like a bigger moment? I don't think Aldis versus Omega is going to happen. I do not think it's going to happen because Nick Aldis has done too much to bring some relevance back to that amazing title, to the NWA title, that he is not going to drop it to Kenny Omega. That is, outside of any belts in WWE, obviously, that is the one non-WWE belt that Kenny Omega will not get, is the NWA title. I'm going to stick to my guns on that one. I can tell you right now, NWA, Ring of Honor, MLW, organizations like that, even New Japan, are watching what's going on with AEW and Impact and how Impact is being treated right now and how it's all working out. And they're all going to say, if things don't turn around here really quick, they're all going to say, hey, listen, yeah, working with you guys would be cool. You are not taking our title from us because this is just a hot mess. And that takes me into John's hot take for this week. Haven't done one in a while. Excuse me. Have to get another drink there. Have to get ready for this one. AEW has dropped the ball with Kenny Omega. They had a huge opportunity on Wednesday night. I fantasy booked this, that Dynamite should have opened with the Kenny Omega celebration. It should not have opened with what was a great match with Brian Cage and Hangman Adam Page. That was a fantastic opening match. But it should have been all about Kenny Omega. It should have been the WWE style video package with, Kenny Omega, and, they show footage from Rebellion. Maybe it's the still shots or whatever, and Kenny with all the belts. And then we get, Jim Ross, it's Wednesday, you know what that, and before he can finish it, you hear Don Callis's voice. And he goes into this, minute-long diatribe about, the greatest wrestler on the planet. He is the belt collector. He is, this, that, and the other thing, and does his over-the-top introduction of Kenny Omega. Then Kenny comes out, flanked by the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers. And they come out to the ring, and he's standing there with all of his belts, with the AAA Mega Championship, with both the TNA and Impact World titles, and the AEW World Championship around his waist. And he goes on to bash Rich Swann. He goes on to talk about how he can't even get a challenger for the AAA Mega Championship. How he, is, the backbone of AEW wrestling. And how great he is. And just let him go on and on. No interruptions. Nobody comes out. It's the first 7 to 9 minutes of the show where it's all about Kenny Omega gloating, talking down the former Impact champion, talking about how nobody in the world can compete with him. He is the only man in the world to be able to do this, even though we know Jushin Thunder Liger did it, 2 decades ago, where he had 14 titles at the same time. But he talks about that, and maybe he starts rattling off people that he wants to go after or titles he wants to go after. Start name dropping. Maybe he even talks about, you know what? Maybe I'll even go north to those other belts that they don't want to recognize us as a wrestling company, even though one of our guys was just on one of their shows. Maybe I'll even go there and challenge one of their so-called champions. Let them go on. But what did we get on Wednesday night? We got a promo in a limo that ended in a comedy segment with Michael Nakazawa making everybody dump stuff on themselves because they thought they heard a horn, but it was actually the horn in the limo. And then Kenny coming out and mouthing off with Kingston and then getting threatened by Moxley and Kingston. Is that how you really display the champion? And then on Impact is okay. I mean, Scott D'Amore did a really good job with, okay, we need to come up with a number one contender to be able to get our belt back, to challenge to get our belt back. And they did, they did the qualifying matches for basically what's going to be a 6-pack challenge. And Scott D'Amore telling Don Callis, hey, you know what? He's the champion. Kenny better be here before the end of the show, because if he's not, we're going to strip him of the title. I'm not so sure about that whole thing. Kenny Omega doesn't show up until the final 90 seconds of the show. He looked absolutely horrible. Now, Impact this week was taped. It was either the same night as Rebellion or it was the next day on Monday. So, Kenny had a hard-fought battle with Rich Swann, and he was probably banged up, but boy, he really looked it moving around in the ring. And I just don't think it was good. Both companies screwed up. It could have been so much better to make Kenny Omega just this super heel that not only are the guys in his own company pissed off at him, but guys in another company are pissed off at him. That's what they needed to do, and they didn't do it. AEW barely mentioned Impact at all. It's just, it's a mess. It really, truly is. So, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this. I think, honestly, if AEW doesn't turn this around and start doing something different with Kenny Omega and the whole belt collector thing it's going to be a joke. It really is. I fear that, I heard somebody suggest, well, maybe Kenny Omega needs to take the New Japan United States title off of Jon Moxley. No, he only wants world championships. What I would like to see is, now that Brian Cage beat Adam Page this week, and he's technically the number one contender, Dynamite in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe the Dynamite right before Double or Nothing, you have Omega versus Cage, FTW championship against everything else that Kenny has. And he wins the FTW World Championship, a belt that I know it's primarily just a prop belt. It always has been in its existence. There's only been 4 men that have ever held the title. It rarely ever gets defended. It gets defended less than a Brock Lesnar World Championship. Okay. But what a great storyline that would be to have Brian Cage, through some nefarious actions by the Good Brothers, lose his FTW title. And maybe that creates more problems within Team Taz, and you finally get Brian Cage breaking off. He ends up in a feud with Ricky Starks, which would be good. That's the way I would do it. If you're going to give Kenny another belt, give him the FTW belt for right now. Just go ahead and give it to him. And then maybe Kenny says, this is nothing but a toy belt. It doesn't mean anything. And he just gets rid of it. And then Taz takes it back. A couple of weeks later, Taz takes it back. That's the way I would do it. All right. So we are closing in on the hour mark. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and have some fun. Let's open it up and let's play some Ask John Anything. We'll put it in, put your comments in. We can't do ultra chats yet because we haven't gotten to that level. So you get a free question in the comment section for John. Ask John anything, and I will answer you. Well, here we go. Adam, where's the bell collector going? That's my biggest reservation with this. AEW was established to save wrestling, but burying other world champions, they are doing this. Oh, yes, another great take there, Adam. I don't know if you caught my comment on this on Wrestling Daily the other day, that, you know, AEW is more wrestling where WWE is more entertainment. But yes, the bell, where are they going with it? What is it doing? Who is it helping? I don't know. That's a great question. Oh, Missy, what's up? Good to see you in here again, my friend. So yeah, we are playing another round of Ask John Anything. It doesn't have to be wrestling. It doesn't have to be wrestling. Open up your questions. We'll take a few minutes of this. Oh, good one. In your opinion, is The Fiend getting buried? Absolutely. We've seen Bray Wyatt once since the match at WrestleMania. What is going on with him? This is a guaranteed money-making draw, and they have done barely anything with him. It's been all Alexa Bliss. Now, I love Alexa Bliss. You guys that have been watching me for a while know I'm a huge fan of Alexa Bliss, and I love what she's doing. But The Fiend has gotten lost in all of this. He's gotten buried. It's gone. What is he going to do now? We don't know. I mean, there was something teased a couple of weeks ago. What do I think about the NFL draft? Honestly, I really couldn't tell you much about the NFL draft. I will look up right now. I know a few of the first picks. I really didn't pay too much attention about it this year. Let's see. Let me see if I can find. Okay. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Well, here's the comments I have about the NFL draft. One, I am so happy that the Bears took Justin Fields because he is going to suck as an NFL quarterback. The Bears are a bunch of idiots. They've got Nick Foles under contract. They signed Andy Dalton, and now they draft Justin Fields. He is going to be a flop. Okay? He's not going to do. I don't think any of the quarterbacks drafted this year are going to be superstars, quite honestly. Trevor Lawrence, I think he's going to be a flash in the pan. He may have a couple of good years, but that's going to be it. Oh, my God. Adam Pearson. 90s cartoon characters and what? Okay, I am going to reserve this question, and I am going to actually do a dedicated stream just to talk about this because I actually have to go. I would draft Beavis and Butthead. I would have them on a team just because I think their stupidity would confuse another team. And we could get Cornholio. We could get the great Cornholio. He would show up. And actually, I just saw there was a YouTube video I saw of a celebrity death match, and it was Beavis versus Butthead, and Cornholio made an appearance, and he destroyed Butthead. It was great. But I will, Adam, I'm going to research this, and I will do a special video just for you on that. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, my goodness. You know, I have been a Packer fan since I was a little kid. I lived through the god awful 70s and 80s with the team. And, all the drama with Brett Favre after Rodgers was drafted. I will say this. If Aaron Rodgers wants to go, fine. Brian Gutekunst, pick up the phone. You find the absolute worst AFC team that needs a quarterback, and you send him over to that team and say, all right, you want an MVP quarterback, we need to get your next 3 number 1 picks and 2 starting caliber players at, I'd say, 1 linebacker and an offensive lineman or a receiver. And you can have Aaron Rodgers, and you just let him suck at another team. Or you call up Bill Belichick. Hey, Bill, you don't have Brady anymore. You guys sucked the last year. Would you like Aaron Rodgers? Then we find out just how good Aaron Rodgers is if he plays for Bill Belichick. But if the Packers are serious about getting rid of, and this kind of goes into Frankie's question, I'll get to that in a second. I would not take any phone calls from any NFC teams. NFC, it doesn't matter what they're offering, unless it's the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle would be the only team. I do not want Aaron Rodgers. If he's not a Packer, I don't want him in the NFC. Ship him away somewhere else. He could pull a Brett Favre then, and after a year or two, show back up in the NFC, whatever. But for next season, he's in the AFC somewhere. How are the Packers handling the situation? Honestly, I don't know. Nobody knows the truth of what's going on. Nobody really knows what's happening here. Adam Schefter supposedly had this story a couple of weeks ago and just conveniently decided to drop on draft day. And Aaron Rodgers is showing he's a prima donna, basically holding on to a grudge because of last year. Now, should they have informed Aaron Rodgers, hey, Aaron, we're thinking about drafting this kid, just to let you know. We don't want you to find out watching TV. We want to let you know. Okay? Are they doing exactly what they did to Favre? Well, keep in mind, though, Favre for 3 years kept going back and forth on I'm going to retire. I'm not. I'm going to retire. I'm not. Oh, Mizzy is a Patriots fan. You would rather have Cam Newton than Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Frankie's in Wisconsin. You hate oh my goodness. Let's see. 45 minutes for me would put you, let's see. Sheboygan, Johnson Creek, Union Grove. You don't have to put it in here, Frankie. I'm just kidding. You don't have to put that in there. All right. Anybody else? Anybody? Carol, if you're still here. Hey, Carol, hold on a second. Let me go back up here. I saw, where was it? Oh, you know what? I got to go back to a comment that Adam made earlier that I passed up on. WWE has a tendency to underestimate the intelligence of their audience. It leads to the lowest common denominator humor that alienates fans and detracts from actual wrestling. Absolutely. I think they are thinking, and okay, this may come across as wrong. I think they may be coming at it that, Attitude Era, when they were drawing 5-6 million fans every week on Raw, but the content was so different. It was DX, it was vulgar, it was bra and panty matches and everything else, and that's just not the way anymore. And I agree with you. They try using humor. You look at everything that's been going on with Nia Jax. It's terrible. It distracts from the wrestling and alienates the fans. Frankie, I'm an idiot. I knew that. Obviously, you'd rather have Brady back. I get that. Wait, you don't want Brady? After what he just did last season? Come on. Oh, my goodness. Yes, okay. So, Adam, I know you're across the pond here. The waiting list for Green Bay Packers season tickets is, I want to say it's over 100,000 now. You literally have to, when your child is born, put them on the season ticket waiting list and hope that by the time they turn 50, their number comes up. That's how crazy it is. That is legit, but they named their baby Packer. Yeah. Whoa, that is awesome, man. That is very cool. Yeah, I'm not a huge NBA fan, even though we have the Bucks here. Just so much of the political crap. I hate it. I'm actually going to be in Cleveland over Labor Day weekend. Excited to go there. Have never been to Cleveland. I've been to Ohio a couple of times. Never been to Cleveland, though. Excited to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hopefully things will be opened up there. Get some Skyline chili. A Mavericks fan. Even though Mark Cuban is the owner, you're okay with that? You're cool with that? I'm kidding. Okay. So, say hi to the Miz. Darn it. You know what? I'm not going to be able to open this right now. I am such an idiot. I was going to open this and I didn't bring the wine opener because this is not a twist top. Darn it. I was going to bust this open and try it out on the air. And I can't even get the stupid thing open. God, I am. Anyways. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Say hi to the Miz. He doesn't live there anymore. Remember that? He moved to, I know they moved to Texas, but then did they move back to California, or was it they moved from California to Texas? I forgot what. I don't watch Miz and Mrs. I only see the highlights during Raw and the commercials. So as much as I think he's a douche on the air, I would actually love to meet him because I have all the respect in the world for the Miz because of everything that he's done. You know, this was a kid that was on MTV's The Real World, and thank you, Frankie. MTV's The Real World, and he has now been in the WWE for 15 years and has not, as he said, he hasn't missed any time with injuries or anything else. He's that go-to guy. I mean, good grief, they give him 25-minute segments every doggone week. Okay? It's just crazy. They do. And, you know, I mean, he married Maurice. Come on. You know, he's had a successful career. You may think the guy is a douche on the air, but boy, he has just done so well for himself. Yes, Mark Cuban, the former Raw guest GM. And yes, he is a famous businessman. Yes, he is. You are a misfit. You like what they've done with Apollo. I like that they turned him a heel. I just don't know about this whole Nigerian prince, bad accent, you know, Commander Aziz, all that stuff. I don't know. I like the fact that he's a heel because he was a heel on the Independents for a long time. He does a really good job with it. It's leading towards they're going to end up having a fatal four-way at Backlash. for the IC title. Frankie, we just had a title on the The Miz is that good. He doesn't need a title unless it's the tag team titles. I would love to see him and Morrison get back into the tag team title fight, because they really are a good tag team and they need it. Oh, I love this one, Adam. I think Apollo may have set up AJ and Omos for their party in Nigeria. He had to have. He had to have. I'm excited. We're finally going to get to see AJ and Omos back on TV on Monday, and I hope they don't do anything stupid with them. But I'm fearful. I sincerely hope so. For those of you that don't know her, Sierra is a young woman from the Milwaukee area that has been wrestling on the independent scene for now 4 years. She was actually wrestling when she was a junior in high school, locally. And she has done some great things. I mean, she is just an amazing talent. She actually trained with the Beer City Bruiser, through him and through Brew City Wrestling here in Milwaukee. And I would love to see her in that women's division. That would be so great for her. I see big things for her. If she's got to get on the right track. I know if the Beer City Bruiser can help her out, he will. And Ring of Honor getting in there is going to open a lot of doors. I can tell you right now, if you guys are not following women's wrestling in the Midwest, primarily in the Chicago area, you need to start doing it, because there's going to be a lot of names I think that are going to be popping up in NXT and in AEW very soon, coming from this area. And, we've already seen it with Cora Jade, Elena Black. She was from Freelance Wrestling in Chicago. There's a couple of other young ladies. Actually, Ring of Honor is bringing in Laney Luck. She's going to be there. She's actually wrestling tonight here in Milwaukee for Zello Pro, along with Missa Kate. They're two very talented women that I've worked shows with before here in the area, so I'm excited for them. But yeah, just start paying attention to women's names in Midwest wrestling. You're going to start seeing some more popping up on the bigger stages like this. Oh, that's the $1 million question, Mizzy. What is the status of Keith Lee? I have no freaking idea. And I don't think anybody else does. I don't know if he is dealing with an injury or what's going on. I don't know. Oh, I like. So, Adam, you're familiar with her. Okay. Now, keep in mind, we're not talking Sienna. We're not talking Allison K / Sienna. We're talking Sierra. Okay. Yeah, she's got a great look. When she turned heel, that was a huge change for her. Yeah, she's very good in the ring. Roderick Strong, that's good. I like that. Yes, Tommaso Ciampa is from Milwaukee. He wrestled a ton. He wrestled in Brew City Wrestling. He wrestled in AEW. Just a lot. NWA Wisconsin when it was here. A lot of different areas around here. So did Adam Pearce, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, the Raw, not general manager, but official for WWE. He spent a lot of time in Wisconsin as well, wrestling. So Wisconsin has always been kind of a hotbed for professional wrestlers. Austin Aries is from Milwaukee. Ken Kennedy, Ken Anderson is from Green Bay. Mr. What is he doing now? Absolutely nothing. Anderson. Wait a second. You know JP? Oh, you and I are going to have to talk. You and I are going to have to talk. If it's the same JP I know, I've known him. Is he the one that used to be a referee? Or is it somebody else? If it's the same one, he's actually got his own organization. I haven't talked to him since the pandemic started, unfortunately. I lost track with a lot of the people that I was doing. Absolutely, yes. The indies are the lifeblood of big wrestling. I mean, you take a look at it now. Yes, Jason Parks. Yeah, good old JP. He's done well for himself. Yeah, especially now, independent wrestling is definitely the lifeblood for big wrestling. All right. Well, you know what? I'm assuming it's my wife that's been messaging me because it is after 7:00 local time here. Adam Pearson, I know it's okay. Yeah, my wife is sending me messages. Yes, he used to be the mouth. Well, he still is the mouth of the Midwest, but now he does it more as JP does as a promoter than anything else. All right, I think we are going to go ahead and end this now. This has been fun, and I think actually this may have been my longest broadcast ever. I think this is my longest one, which is going to drive Buzzsprout crazy, I think, with with my audio podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Adam Pearson, man, I'm telling you, you are the best, brother. I mean, I appreciate everybody in here, but Adam, all the way in the UK, and you stayed up an extra hour just to hang out with little old me. That is, hold on, where is it? We got to bring it out. Nobody asked for it. Damn, nobody asked for it. I am the reigning, defending, could be disputed Wrestling Daily I'm a Good Egg champion of the world. Right here. Yep, the belt had to come out. Yes, it was, Frankie. It was fun. I greatly appreciate it. But again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is the 61 days now of WrestleScope. Please like this video, share it with your friends. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. Please do. My eventual goal is 1,000 subscribers. I am only 886 away. Hey, I'm closer than I was a week ago. I am. I'm closer than I was yesterday, because I just got 114 today. I was really hoping she was going to pop in here, but she wasn't able to, which is unfortunate. She'll watch on the replay. Also, hit the notifications and hit me up on all my other social media. Click on the link in the bio for all my other social media. Adam Pearson, you know where I am on Twitter. I'm going to go troll some people on Twitter. But thank you very much for tuning in to WrestleScope Weekly. I will be back tomorrow. Adam, I promise I am going to get to your question about the cartoon characters and Survivor Series. No, we don't jam that jam here. We egg the good egg. We don't jam that jam. We egg the good egg, which, this picture is going to have to change because of what Ollie did. Ollie Davis supposedly got a hair transplant, so I may have to change the picture. We shall see. Or we may just go back to the original belt. I don't know. But again, thank you very much. I am John. This is WrestleScope. I will be back tomorrow with day number, I'm going to have to start keeping count here. Day number 32 of the 61 days of WrestleScope. Have a great night, everybody. Go watch some good wrestling. Be a good person. And have a great weekend.